everybody. I am hoping that I am live. And welcome to tonight's webinar. I'm just going to make sure I'm live and everything's working here. I'm thinking everything is good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we're just going to wait a few more minutes just to make sure everybody is logged in. If you would like to ask or ask any questions tonight, make sure you're logged into your Google account. You can either be logged into Google from your home account or from your pdsb.net account. So I'll just give you a second to log in. If you do have any questions, please make sure that you do type them out on the YouTube channel, and I'll actually show you where that is here. So here is where you would be asking your question, right here. And if you click send, then Erica, my colleague, and I will be able to help you out. Okay, just going to get this all set up here. Erica, just let me know if everything looks good. Okay, I'm going to start. Wonderful. Okay, so welcome to tonight's webinar on the wonderful world of Google. I do have a lot that I want to go through today, so we're going to be working relatively quickly. And if you have any questions at all, please make sure that you do post them to the question area in the area that I just showed you. I'm actually just trying to bring that up on my screen here, and just so I can see all your questions here. Awesome. Okay. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Gus. Hello, Anleep. Parminda. Awesome. So, we are going to start. This presentation has been brought to you by the ATRT team, and we are a group of people who are very passionate about ensuring that kids get equitable access to technology in their classrooms. And so what we do, our jobs are to help support teachers and help support students with SIA claims and students with special education needs in the classroom to access the technology. So thank you for coming tonight, because this means that you care a lot about your students and a lot about their learning. Okay, we are going to start by just going over the goals for today. So we are hopefully going to be able to see and explore all of these Google apps tonight. If we don't get to all of them, do not worry, because I will absolutely be doing another presentation at another time, or one of the other ATRTs will. I'd like to make sure I do thank and introduce you to Erica. Erica will be behind the scenes answering all of the questions. Erica, for some reason, my YouTube has disappeared here. So what you're going to do, Erica, is if you can just make sure you I'm going to see here if I can get it up. I don't think I can. I'm just going to ask you, please, to just let me know if we have any important things that you want me to go over again, and I will do that for sure, because I'm not seeing the questions right now on my computer screen. But I'm going to get right into it. So first of all, the Google Apps are something that's accessible to all of Peel District School Board students. And to access what we're going to be looking at a little bit later on, which is the Read and Write puzzle piece and the Read and Write extension, they need to be logged into Chrome. And I'm quickly going to show you how to log into Chrome, because I have a lot of people that ask me if they need to add the Read and Write extension. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you up here. This is where you sign into Chrome. If I was not signed into Chrome, this area here would be like a little blank head. I would click on it and it would just be a little blank head here. What I need to do is click on that and then sign in to Chrome using my P00 number at pdsb.net. All students and all teachers have access to Read and Write for Google Chrome at home. As I said before, we are going to be talking about Read and Write a little bit later on when we talk about docs, but for now, I just want to make sure I do explain that to you, because a lot of teachers and a lot of students say they don't have access to it at home when really they do. You need to make sure you're in the Chrome browser, of course, but then you also, unless you're in a Chromebook, you also have to click here and sign in. You can see here, these are all my extensions. You might not have all of these extensions yourself, but here, right here is the Read and Write extension that we're going to talk about a bit later on. Okay, so this presentation I'm going to be sharing with you later on when we go into the classroom portion of the webinar. So you know that you're going to have these instructions to be able to sign in at home into Chrome. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Google Drive. So Google Drive is like the big filing cabinet of all of your documents and your presentations. Anything that you do in the Google platform will be saved in the Google Drive. If you look over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see a bunch of different tabs here, and I'm going to go through them. The first one here is new. So if you want to create anything new, you're going to click on this. A new folder, you'd click here, a new Google Doc, a new Google Sheet, or a new Google Slide. Anything else, you can just click on the more, and there's more down here. And we're going to be talking about these as the webinar progresses. There's also a different way to create. There's always a bunch of different ways to do the same thing in Google. And so over here where it says Google Apps, I can also go right into the Google app and then open it from there. Here, this is where your team drives are going to be. If you're part of a team and you have a team drive together, it's an excellent way to share resources. That way you don't actually have to share them by clicking on the share icon, which I'm going to show you a little bit later on. But you can see here I'm part of a bunch of different teams. And so when you're part of a team and you have all of your documents in a drive, you're going to be able to access those without having to share. So as you can see here, anyone who's in the team drive will have access to all of the files that are in here. And this is an amazing way that my teammates and I collaborate in the ATRT team drive, because we put everything there and then we all have access to it, which is fantastic. If you go down here, the shared with me, this is everything that has been shared with you. And we'll talk about sharing in a little bit. But if you know that something was shared with you and you don't know where it is and you don't know how to find it, you can go into the shared with me. Recent is, of course, just as I say, it's recent documents that you've opened, recent slides you've opened, anything recently you've looked at in your drive. Start is really interesting. I don't have anything starred right now, but if you go to a document, you can see here, if I open it up, being a little slow today. One of the options is, let's see this again. One of the options is to star it, And if you star it, just right click here. And if you add to starred, then it will add to your starred, and it's like your preferences or your favorites. So it's a really good way if you've got something that you know is in your starred folder or your starred area, then that's where it is. And then of course we have the trash. The other thing I just want to quickly show you before we move on to docs is if you have something, I was talking before about searching for something and knowing where it is. You can also always search the drive. So I can search the drive here. If I know I have a document that is entitled, I don't know, Kothra. I was just there the other day. There we go. There's my Google Sheet that I did at Kothra the other day, and it does a quick search for me in my drive. As you can see, I'm quite slow today. Alrighty, so that's Google Drive. I'm hoping that if you have any questions, because my questions are not showing right now, that you're asking them to Erica, and Erica will let me know if there's anything you want me to show again. Okay, we are now going to be looking at Google Docs. There's a lot in Google Docs, so I'm going to go through it as comprehensively as I can, while at the same time sort of showing you from a teacher's perspective what I love about docs and sort of what docs can do for students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new Google Doc, just here as I showed you, new Google Doc. I always tell the students to give my document a title, just like we would with any document. And there we go. Now you can see, because I'm in Chrome, my Read and Write toolbar came up right away. Now, although this is not a Read and Write for Google Chrome webinar, I will show you some tools that are quite amazing that you can do with Read and Write. So here's a Google Doc, and a Google Doc looks a lot like a Word document and has a lot of the same features, but it also has other things that we can do with it that make it even better and better for kids. Now remember, anything you do in the drive automatically gets saved. So if I'm typing, I do not need to save it at all. It will automatically get saved in the drive. So as I type, each keystroke does get saved, and this document called webinar, if I go to my drive right now, it will be in my drive. What I want to show you here with the Read and Write for Google Chrome is this is called Talk and Type. And if I click on this and I click on Allow, because I always want to make sure that my microphone is connected, I can start to speak. Let's try that again. I got to speak really loudly. I can start to speak, and everything that I say comes up on the screen, period. You can imagine how students feel when they see this feature, period. Teachers have said to me that it is a game changer for a lot of their students, period. So a lot of our students have absolutely no trouble with generating ideas, but they have a hard time putting it down on paper. And so what this is good for is obviously getting your ideas on paper in a really quick way, and the students love it. It also reads back.
I can start to speak and everything that I say comes up on the screen. You can imagine how students feel when they see this feature. Teachers have said to me that it is a game changer for a lot of their students.
So you can change the voice, you can change the speed, we can customize it for each student. Those are the two features that I really love the most in Read and Write. And again, if there is something you want to learn about in this toolbar, because there's a lot to it, we will think about putting together another webinar, or contact your ATRT, and definitely they will be able to come in and help you co-teach, co-plan with your students. And at the end of the webinar, I'll be able to show you the presentation that that allows you to see who your ATRT is if you don't know already. Amazing feature here for a lot of our ELLs in our board is the translate feature. So there's a translate icon up here. This does one word at a time. Okay, so I have it set to Arabic, and that is the word speak in Arabic.
تحدث.
And there is our Arabic voice speaking it. That is a read and write feature. There's also a Google Doc feature that allows us to translate the whole document to any of these languages. Okay, there's a lot of them. And again, when I show teachers this feature, they are amazed at how accessible this does now allow a lot of our text to be for our students. So for example, if I gave a writing assignment and I wanted to translate it into Arabic, I would just go here, Arabic, translate. It opens a new Google Doc, which is great because you've still got your first one, which is in English, and then we've got our translated copy of whatever it is. I always like, because it's in script, I always like to increase the font a little bit. And we can also, using the read and write read feature, we can also read it back in Arabic. Right now I'm not sure where my voice is obviously set to English, so it would not sound very good if it was reading Arabic right now. But there is a way up here in options to be able to change the voice, and then you can read it in Arabic. So there's one thing we could do with Google Docs. Another thing that I love showing teachers and kids right away is this little feature down here called Explore. Let's say, for example, we're writing about spring. And what I would do here, and this kids love it, and teachers, it's a really great way to get kids engaged in their writing. All we need to do here is go up and type in the word spring. A lot of times, actually, it recognizes what you're talking about, and it will do it for you. You can just type it in, go to images. There's all my images here about spring. And then what I'm going to do is, if I hover over each of these images and then I click on the plus, it will embed it right into my document. So of course, this is great. It gives, more meaning for the kids. They can describe what it is they're writing about and then find an image that works for them. If for some reason they don't click on the plus and they click on the image, what happens is it comes up like this. You just need to take away the toolbar, because the toolbar covers the insert, and you just need to click on insert. And then from here, you can make it smaller or make it bigger, depending on where you want it in your document. Okay, the other great thing about Google Docs is that they can be shared. Up here, and we talked a little bit before when I showed you in the Drive, the Share With Me folder. If I click here on Share, you can share this document with someone else, which means it will show up in their Shared With Me folder in their Drive. And then what can happen is you can have two people working on the document at the same time. So I'm going to share this with my friend Erica. She may or may not be ready to do this, and it's okay if you're not Erica. But I'm just going to share it with her, and I'm going to allow her to edit. So if I do share it with her, and I allow her to edit, it means that she is going to be able to type on this document, and so you have a collaborative document, even though you have two people in two people in two completely separate rooms, two completely separate houses in the evening, and you can both work on it. You can see that Erica is now on. There we go. There she is. She is now on this document, and I can see here that she's here because her icon has come up. So if you have a group of 4 or 5 students working on the same document, they can see by their color coding, you can see that Erica's icon is pink, and she's made a comment over here. Now for comments are also an amazing feature of Google Docs. If I want to make a comment, all I need to do is click on a word or click somewhere in my document and click on this little plus icon. And then what I'm going to do, my name will show up and I can write right on here. And if I were a teacher and this was my student's work, I might say something like, I really like how you use descriptive writing. Okay, and then it's here. And then if your student happens to check their Google Doc, they can respond to you, or they can do what's called resolve. So if you ask your students to check for capitals and periods, they can check for capitals and periods, they can change it, and then they can mark it as resolved. So that is Google Docs in a nutshell. Erica, let me know if I have forgotten anything. I want to move on because I'm very cognizant of time. Okay, there's lots of more things we can do here with Google Docs, but I'm going to leave that for another time. Oh, one last thing. Sorry, this is really neat. On the side of your Google Doc here, you've got what's called tasks. You can set your, so say for example, as a teacher, you want to make sure that students are working on capitals, periods, and say you're working on, as I was just talking about, descriptive writing, okay? Once your students do that, whoops, there we go. Once your students do that, they can check it off as done, and then it will simply disappear. So it's like an editing checklist. There we go. And then we can also, we're going to talk hopefully about Google Keep at the end of this. If we don't get to Google Keep today, which is an amazing, it's just a great Google application that we're really doing a lot more exploring with as a team, and teachers are learning a lot more about it. If we don't get to it today, I promise you we'll have another webinar about it. But you can link your Google Keep right to your Google Doc. So what it's doing right now is it's taking my Google Keep from my drive and it's embedding it right into my Google Doc. So I can have checklists that I have in my Google Keep in my drive, and I can simultaneously be looking at it on the side of my doc. Okay, I'm hoping, Erica, that there aren't too many questions. I'm just gonna look here. All right. We are moving on. Remember, everyone will have access to this webinar. It will be posted to our YouTube channel, I think, in about 24 hours. And I'm also going to be giving you access to this presentation. Read and write, we already looked at really quickly. It is a world unto itself, but in the presentation, we've got a hyperlink here to read and write for Google Chrome. So if you click here, there's a Google Doc that goes through all of the different features. So this presentation in itself also has some really great hyperlinks and resources attached to it. Also in this presentation, we've got different Google Docs activities you can do with your kids. So if you're brand new to Google Docs, don't worry. We've laid it all out here for you. I strongly suggest you get your kids onto their Chromebooks and you get them logged in. As soon as kids log into Chromebooks using their student number, and on Chromebooks, the @pdsb.net is already there. So as soon as they log on to their Chromebooks, and then a neat little trick that I show my kids and my teachers is that if you press down Control and then you press N as in nectarine, it opens a brand new page. And on Google Chromebooks, that new page is obviously your Google your homepage, your Google homepage. And I say to teachers, as soon as you see this waffle, you can relax. Because as soon as you see your waffle, you know that you've got everything you need right here. So the Control N works awesome on Chromebooks, and then kids can get right into it. So, so again, I'll just remind you, I'm not on a Chromebook, so I can't show you, but if you log on to a Chromebook, you go to the Peel District School Board homepage, which is like a bluish page, and from there, Control N, and then it will take you straight to your Google homepage. All right, Google Slides. Google Slides are Google's equivalent of PowerPoint. So to open up a Google slide, it's going to be very similar to, so these, remember, all of this is going to be saved in my drive. I do not need to save it. It will be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm in my drive, and I'm going to choose to go into slides through my waffle. So I'm going to click on the waffle, and then I'm going to click on slides. So slides is, as I said, Google's equivalent of PowerPoint. And there's a lot we can do here. And it's amazing for kids too. And I often say to teachers, get the Chromebooks in the kids' hands, show them the app, and let them practice with it. So they can either start with a blank presentation, or they can choose a different template here. As you can see down here, I have a lot of presentations that I've either done with teachers, or it have been shared with me from different teachers or my fellow ATRTs. And you can see the different layouts here that different people have used, and it's really interesting. So here, how it works, it looks a lot like a PowerPoint. It's a little bit like start typing and away you go. So you just click here to add a title. So I can do this again, about spring. I can type down here, is beautiful. And I can decide to change the layout of it. I can decide to change the look of it by just clicking on any of these different themes. Okay. To add a slide, we just go to click here, click to new slide, and then it adds a new slide. If you want the new slide in the same presentation, we just click here, and then you can choose, again, a different presentation. And they're kind of in the same theme, which is kind of neat. So you can have like it looking like that, the next slide. So they're all orange and white, but they're all a little bit different. So a lot of the features or the toolbar that we have in Google Docs are here in Google Slides. The one thing, unfortunately, we cannot, at this point, it's probably going to change, but at this point in time, we do not have read and write. We can't use the speech to text feature in the slide, but you can use it down here in the speaker notes. So what I have students do is turn on their microphone, speak here into the speaker's notes, and then Control-C, Control-V up into here. You also have the Explorer feature, so you can embed the images right away into your presentation, easy peasy. Everything is sort of in one place. And then when you want to present it, you just click here to present. And there we go. There's my spring presentation. Again, you can make comments here. You can share it. So right now, obviously, I haven't shared it with anybody, but if I wanted to do a collaborative Google Slides presentation with a colleague, or if you wanted to assign this to 2 students, you could have the students share it with each other, or of course you can assign it through Google Classroom. So that is Google Slides in a nutshell. Obviously, there's lots of other things you can do here, and you know what? I would recommend going in and just tooling around here and clicking on some of these and figuring out what some of these different what the toolbar and all these little drop downs do. There's some really neat things in here. That is Google Slides. Okay, so again, in the presentation that I'm going to share with you, we have some awesome resources for you in here, and they're all hyperlinks. So once you get the presentation, you just need to click on this and then click underneath, and you will get the either the article or the presentation or the Google Doc that it is linked to. Okay, Sheets. Sheets is Google's equivalent of Microsoft Excel. And there are a few really cool things that we can do in Sheets, even in a primary classroom. So what I'm going to show you is something that can be probably done in a grade 2 or 3 classroom, but obviously you're going to be able to see where you can extend it into middle school or high school. So for example, I'm just actually going to start a new one here. So again, I'm going to go to my apps and I'm going to go to Sheets. I'm going to go to blank. And what you see here is just a blank spreadsheet. And it doesn't need to be fancy. The first thing I'm obviously going to do is I'm going to give it a title like I always have to. And let's say, for example, this is going to be Nadia's bar graph on fruit. So Nadia does a survey with her class and she figures out that 5 people love apples and 7 people love kiwi and 6 people love cherries and 8 people love bananas. So there's her information she's taken here. What she can do now, and again, this is even primary kids, if you can teach them how to navigate the touchpad on a Chromebook, they take this and they just drag across so it's all covered. They can then go to Format. Oh, I'm sorry, Insert. We then go to Function. Now under Function, there's a lot of stuff there. We don't need to focus on this, but if they know what sum means, and they should, they can click on sum, they click outside of the box, and they can see what that is. So they know what sum is on a spreadsheet, and they know that the sum of this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this is 26. So the other thing they can do is they can take this, and let's again go to function, say they're in more like grade 5 or 6, they can take the average. This is neat because it shows you actually what the equation is. It's taking the average of A1 to B4, and then you can see here that the average is 6.5. So great way to show kids how to use an Excel spreadsheet in a really simple way that helps them out with math. One of my favorite things that I love to show teachers with did I just call it Excel? With the Google Sheet is if I do this and I go across here, and then again I go to Insert and I go to Chart. What this will do is it will create a bar graph for the student. So Nadia's bar graph on fruit, here is Nadia's bar graph. She can see here that 5, if she hovers over it, she's got her numbers, 5 people like apples, 7 people like kiwi, 6 people like cherries, 8 people like bananas. To me, this is, again, it's a game changer for kids, because how many times have we sat in our grade 2 or 3 classrooms trying to teach kids how to take a ruler and hold it steady and have the kids write? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they know how to write a bar graph, and if they've got fine motor difficulties, or if they've got like a visual spatial integration issue, or they have anything that impedes them from being able to get the thoughts on paper. This does it for them. And then what's important is the analysis of the graph. So here we can see that Nadia is going to be able to not waste an hour trying to make this bar graph look pretty, but she's got the bar graph in front of her, and she can then hover over this or not and be able to analyze this and see clearly. If she wants to also use, create a, let's see what else we can do here quick. If I, again, just cover this up, highlight it, go to Insert, go to Chart. Let's this time choose a pie chart. So it's going to appear right on top of the other one. So now Nadia can have 2 different types of charts. So what a great assignment for you to do. Tally the students in your class, whatever information you want to know. Have them using the spreadsheet the Google Sheets, have them do not only a bar graph, but also a pie graph and be able to explain their information. And they haven't spent a period trying to figure out how to actually, you know, draw the lines on the paper. Okay, that is Google Sheets. We're at 7:35. We are rolling along here. Again, I want to make sure that everybody realizes that if there's anything at all that you want me to go over again, I can absolutely do that. Just write it on the YouTube channel, and Erica will let me know if there's anything you want me to redo or show you. And the other thing is, if there's anything you want an entire webinar on, if you want to go deeper into Google Sheets or deeper into Google Docs or deeper into whatever it is that we're doing tonight, this is meant to be an overview, and I will absolutely be able to help you out with that, or one of the team will. It's getting dark. I'm just going to turn on the light. Before, the sun was in my face. Now it's a bit better. Okay, so Google Forms. Google Forms are awesome, and different types of teachers are going to use forms in a different way. But if you've ever used a SurveyMonkey, this is primarily what teachers are going to use Google Forms for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here on our presentation that we have some Google Forms ready-made for you. So for example, if you want to be able to get the kids just engaging in a Google form and you don't want to create one yourself, in our presentation here, we have some forms here already for you, and I'm going to show you here. So if I click on this, exit ticket for example, and then I click on this, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up as a copy. Would you like to make a copy? I'm glad that this got brought up because it allows me to explain that if you make a copy of this, it will be your copy and it will be in your drive. The original was made by somebody. They put the original into this presentation, but they made the original so that when you click on the link, it forces you to make a copy. That's something that I didn't talk about in the Google Docs, but when you're in a Google Doc, actually you can be in anything. If you go to File, if you go to File here, there's always this option of making a copy. So if you take someone's original, it's a good idea, if someone has shared with you their original, it's a really good idea to click on File and make a copy, because if I shared this with someone and they clicked here and started making changes to it, it would actually change my original. So really good idea to make a copy. Now, here we go. The way this is set up is it forces me to make a copy. So I'm going to click here, and it's going to make a copy, and this right now is going to be put into my drive. And if you would like to use this as a template for yourself, by all means, you can change this because it is now yours. So as soon as you click on that link, it's yours, you can change it. So this is just a very quick exit ticket about your lesson. So lesson review, this is whatever your lesson's about. You're going to write your name here. Did you enjoy that lesson? Yes or no? And what did you enjoy most about the lesson? This says short answer, so you're going to type in your short answer. What did you not enjoy? You're going to type in your short answer here. How confident do you feel? You can click where you feel on a scale of 1 to 10. And you can see here it's set up as a linear scale, how much effort, and there you go. And then at the end, you're going to be able to submit. So because this is in edit mode, this is me editing this. If it was in preview mode, this is the way it would look. and this is where the kids would actually answer. In edit mode, that's where you're actually creating the questions. So I would actually, on the pre-made ones that you can see in our presentation, I would actually just take it, edit it to my liking, and then send it off to the kids. And again, the way you would send it off to the kids is you would click send, and there you can put your students' email addresses in, or again, you can embed this in Google Classroom. Again, it's very, Google makes things really sort of user-friendly. So if I was creating a new form from scratch, here I can click on the plus, and I've got all sorts of different questions I can ask. I can change my font, I can add an image, I can add a video, I can add a section. I can change the color, the theme, I can do whatever it is that, you know, that I would like to do. And from that was one that was already made. You can also make one from scratch. Again, you can always make anything from scratch. And this is what it looks like. So here I can say if they want to do a survey, like if Nadia wanted to create that bar graph from this information, what is your favorite fruit? And then here, maybe this would just, sorry, this would just be called favorite things. And then question number 1 could be, what is your favorite fruit? And here you can see it's on multiple choice. I can add an option here. I can add other. So say, for example, my options are strawberry, kiwi, pineapple, banana, and other. I can add other here. There's different types of questions you can ask here. So you can have short answer, you can have paragraph, you can have check boxes, you can have drop down, you can do the linear scale that I just showed you in that other exit ticket. A lot of different ways you can answer or pose questions for your students, depending on their age, depending on what subject it's in, depending on their level. One thing I really want to point out, I just noticed it and I have forgotten to tell you about. I was going to tell you at the end, but I'm actually going to show you right now. G Suite training is available in all of the apps. And what I love about G Suite training is it is linked directly to the app that you're in. So if I'm going to click in G Suite training right now, I am going to be able to search for anything in forms because I'm in forms. So all of these articles or videos or information is going to help you out in forms. If I was in Classroom, the G Suite training would have all sorts of different articles here or videos to do with forms. If I'm in Drive and I go to the G Suite training, it's going to have to do with Drive, getting started with Google Drive. And if there's anything you want to search for example, let's say, for example, I wanted to add my own image, how to upload an image. Okay, how to insert an image. There it is. There's my video. It's 1 minute and 26 seconds long. So it's an alternative to searching on YouTube, and it obviously is directly, you know, supported by Google, embedded into everything in Google. So G Suite training is fantastic. I learn something every day when I'm just browsing through here and looking. Okay. 7:43, and I do want to leave some time for questions at the end. I'm just going to make sure here that we don't have anything that I need to redo. We are swimming along. We are now going to go into Google Classroom. So a lot of teachers are on Google Classroom, and then there are teachers that are not on Google Classroom yet and want to learn a little bit more about it. And what I'm going to show you tonight is how to join a classroom. Because I have actually something to share with you, which is this presentation. And you will actually see that creating a classroom and joining a classroom is not nearly as onerous or difficult as you may think. So again, I am going to go back to my drive. Now, a lot of times people forget that they have tabs at the top of their screen. So remember, here's all of my different tabs. And I'm going to go straight to drive to be able to find my waffle. If for some reason you are somewhere and you don't know where your drive is, for some reason you can't see it up in your tab, a neat little trick if you're not on a Chromebook, because remember on your Chromebook you can do Control N and that will take you to your waffle. I'm on a Mac right now, but if I'm on my Dell work laptop, or if I'm on another type of, even if I'm on my Mac here, all I'm going to do here is type in the word drive. And if I type in the word drive, it will take me, if I'm logged in, it's going to take me to my drive, but at the very least, it's going to take me to my waffle here. So that again is, sometimes I've got about 15 tabs open and I don't know where I am and I want to get back to where I was, and I just type in the word drive because I want to get home. And my drive is I feel like it's my home, and it's where my waffle is, and it's where I know I am. So I'm going to go back to drive. I'm going to go back to my waffle, and I'm going to click on classroom. So I have a lot of classrooms here because I'm a part of lots of classrooms. You may or may not have a lot of classrooms, but I'm going to quickly show you how to create a classroom and then how to join a classroom. And this is actually the classroom that I'm going to be inviting you to, because if you click here and go to classwork, this is the presentation that my colleagues Joe and Trevor and I did on Tuesday at Thornwood. We shared the presentation that I'm working through tonight. It's right here. So if I share this, if you become part of this classroom, you will then have access to this presentation. But before I do that, we are going to go back to our Google Classroom homepage. This plus, if you click on this, there's two options. You can either join a class or you can create a class. For now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a class. So we just go down here to create class. I am going to call this, you can see I was fooling around here before and I already created one, but I'm going to call this Thursday night's webinar. I don't necessarily need to have section, subject, room. If you're a high school teacher and you want to create different Google Classrooms for different classes, or even if you might be a middle school teacher who does rotation, you might want to do that. I'm going to click on create. And this afternoon when I was trying this out, it did take a while. So I'm just going to sit here with you for a second, and you're going to see literally you type in the name of your classroom, you click create. Google's working hard behind the scenes right now to create this class. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to have your own Google Classroom. So here it is. Not too much work. If you want, so this is again where if you want to spend some time learning more about this, we can do another webinar with it. But I just want to show you, and I want to give you just a sneak peek as to, what it's all about. I'm sure most of you have probably at least seen Google Classroom. And if you haven't, this is it. And this is where you're going to post your classwork. So it's a bit different. It got updated last summer. And so if you haven't seen Google Classroom in a while, the look is a bit different. But spending a little bit of time with it this afternoon, this evening, it's very, some things are in different places, but it basically does, it's very similar to the way it was last year. If I want to create an assignment, I just click on here on create, and it gives you different types of assignments that you want to create. So let's say, for example, I wanted to just create an assignment called read this, please. Then what I could do is I can upload something from my drive. Again, everything is connected. So if you've got what it is in your drive that you want to do, let's read this. I'm going to add it. Okay. And then here, this is really interesting. We can either click on students can view file. And if you're only reading something, that might be the only thing you want them to do. Students can edit file. If that would be if you're doing something collaborative and you want all of the students to work on this one file. Now, please do not let students edit your original master, because then your master will be changed. What a lot of people do, what most teachers do when they're handing things out, if you think about making a copy for each student, this is just like making a virtual photocopy for all of your students. So make a copy for each student and then click Assign. And there you go. So your students, once they're in their class, will each have their own copy of that. Now, because they're only reading it, it's not necessary that you made a copy for each student, but I wanted to show you that feature because it's super important. If it is something they're going to be working on, you want to give them each a virtual photocopy so that they can work independently on it and then submit it when they're done. This is where we are going to be adding students. So here, this is where you're going to invite students. So there's two ways to invite students. You can either invite them manually, and as soon as you start typing in your student's name, they will automatically populate. So if I'm inviting Erica, Erica's name comes up first, but so do all the other Ericas in the board. So you need to make sure that if you have a name that's very common, that you make sure it's actually the right one, and then you just click on the person and then you click invite. And Erica has now been invited to this classroom and she can come in and access all of the material. This grades area, some teachers use it, some teachers don't. I don't know that much about, I'm learning about this part of it, but I know some teachers do use it. I know my son's in high school and his teacher uses it, and my daughter's in grade 7 and her teacher does not use it. So it's up to the teacher whether or not they want to post grades. Now the grades are not going to be visible for everybody, but it's whether or not you as a teacher want to post grades for your class. So there we go. That's Google Classroom in a nutshell. Again, if you want to delete, Erica loves Google Classroom. She does. If for some reason, I would never erase what Erica just wrote, but if I did want to, I just click on the 3 dots here and I delete. Obviously, if one of your students is making inappropriate comments, you can always mute them as well. One thing I do want to show you on my home page of Classroom. So if I go to those 3 lines here, how much time do we have here? Classes. Okay, so if for some reason, this is one I made this afternoon that I just want to get rid of. I just want to show you how to get rid of it because a lot of teachers have, like me, have got so many classes up on their, sort of on their dashboard and they want to get rid of them. So to get rid of a classroom, you just click on the 3 dots and what you can see here is delete is not an option. And there's a reason why delete is not an option. It's because you need to make sure you really want to delete it because when it is deleted, it's gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to archive it first. And what archive does is it puts it in the archive area of your Google Classroom. So if I now go to the 3 lines here and I scroll all the way down to archived classes, there it is. Now, if I taught grade 5 every year and I had a Google Classroom every year, I might want to archive my classrooms but not delete them because I might want to go in and see what I did. Oh, what did I do at this time last year? What was I doing? And what did I post? And what kind of things were we talking about? You might want to archive it, but you might not want it right on your homepage of your Google Classroom. From here, if I really want to delete it, this is where I can delete it. So from my archives, I can now delete. So I'm going to click delete. It says, do I want to delete it? And I am going to delete it. So there it is. Okay, we are not going to get into Google Sites tonight, unfortunately, because it exists. It's awesome. Again, I mean, I'll show it to you really, really quickly because I'm very cognizant of your time. But Google Sites, again, part of the Google Suite, it's right there for all of us to use. The great thing, again, it's super user-friendly. Kids love it. Kids feel such a sense of accomplishment when they've created a Google site. I have a Google site that I've created using Google Sites, and it was very user-friendly. Really, you know, you have to get in, you need to explore a little bit with it, but it's, I'll just quickly show you here. It's right here. So if anybody would like to have access to my website, you are more than welcome to. But again, Google Sites is something that you can expose to your kids and have them create themselves, and they can do a Google site about a topic, whatever it is. And here is where you're going to start. So create new site. You're just going to click on this. And there we go. We're good to go. And I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to insert some pages. I'm going to give it a table of contents. I can insert things from my drive. I can insert images. There's my site name. Again, just because it's in Google, I can share this with other people. And then when I'm ready, I can publish it. And that's where I'm going to publish it from here. And then it's going to give me a web address, and then I can publish it. I can either, you know, publish it, email it to people, or have a web address. Okay, the last thing that I really wanted to talk about that I don't think I'm going to be able to is Keep. But again, I'll just really give you a really quick overview of some of the features of Keep. And then there's one last thing that I want to quickly show you before we go for today. And I will not forget to give you this code. So this is the code to join the classroom. So if you go to that plus, where you go, so you're going to go to your waffle, you're going to go to the plus, you're going to click on join class. When you click join class, it's going to say put in the class code. If you type in this code, it will bring you straight to this classroom. You'll be part of the classroom. There's only a couple of things. Well, there's only a couple of comments, but there's only one assignment that's been posted, and that is the presentation from today. And that presentation, as I said, has lots and lots of resources on it for you to use yourself or with your students. If for some reason you didn't jot this down right, or you couldn't join the classroom, I'm going to give you my email address. Don't worry, just email it to me, and I will be able to show it to you or email it back to you when you're ready. Quickly, do we have time? Yeah. Okay, here. Keep is super awesome. Here it is. We're going to go down to more, and we're going to go into Keep. It's basically like a digital note-taking device. So you can take a note. So you just, let's say, for example, I want to have a shopping list here. So my title is shopping list. Okay. I can tell myself I want milk, I want bread, I want cereal, and I want cherries. Okay. There's a bunch of things I can do. I love this feature here. For me, it's awesome. I can remind myself. So I can remind myself on my Google Calendar that this is my shopping list that I want for tomorrow. So I can click on later today, tomorrow, next week. I can click on where it is I want this to be. Where do I need to be at that time? I can also, oops, oh, I just erased. So let's just pretend it's, I can also share with my partner or whoever it is that I want to share with that this is the shopping list that I want, and maybe you could bring it home instead of me. Or I can change the color. So if I want to pin it, I can color code things on my Google Keep dashboard. I can add images. Again, I can archive. Here, if I was making a shopping list, I would go to show checkboxes, and all of my little shopping would be here. And as I did it, I would click it off, and it's done. Again, a great thing about these apps is I have an iPhone, but I know it works on Android as well. You can download each of the apps onto your phone. So I have Keep on my phone, and anytime I put something in my Keep on my phone, it automatically, if I go to a computer, it's here. So I could be at the shopping, looking at my Keep on my phone, and my shopping list will go from here. Obviously, it will also be mirrored onto my phone. Last thing, super awesome, that I want to show you before we go for today is, where is my drive? I'm losing my voice. So earlier today, where are my files? Earlier today, I took a picture of a picture book. So it's a picture, it's an image. Right here you can see that I took a picture of a picture book. And what I did on my phone was I uploaded it to my drive. So again, I have the Google Drive app on my phone. So I took a photo, I uploaded it to my Google Drive. So it's in my Google Drive. Here, I'm going to right click on this image. So this is a JPEG image. I'm going to click on Open With, and I'm going to click on Google Docs. And this again takes a little bit of time because it's converting. But what I really want you to understand, the power this is going to give our students and our teachers to be able to give accessible material to our students. So here is, I love this. Here is the picture of the book, the JPEG. Underneath, there it is. There is the text. And so what I would probably do, not to confuse kids, is I would then just delete this. And then from here,
I love you right up to the moon, he said, and closed his eyes. Oh, that's far, said the nut brown hare. That is very, very far.
So there you go. And then from here, because this is now in a Google Doc, all of those features that we learned about Google Docs can now be used. So we can now go to Tools and go to Translate Document, translate it into whatever language we want to, and our kids now can access the same text that their peers are accessing. So there it is. If you have any questions, Erica, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else you want me to do. If there's any questions on the YouTube channel that you want me to cover, I can stick around for a little bit. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for learning. I hope that everybody took something out of this. I know we have lots of different people joining us and from at different points along the spectrum in terms of how comfortable they are with Google Apps. I'm hoping that this was a good overview, but yet it allowed you to sort of see some intricacies about some of the features of the apps that we can use in our classrooms, and hopefully you can use tomorrow. There's lots more I could talk about, and I will talk about in another webinar, but for today, this is it, and I'm just going to finish off by showing you all of the ATRTs. Depending on what family of schools you are in, these are your ATRTs. Again, it's in the classroom that I shared with you on the code. It's on the next to last slide. And there's lots more information in that presentation that you can look through on your own that I didn't cover today. But from all of us, thank you for joining us tonight, and hope to see you soon. And I'm going to stick around here for a little bit and answer any questions that you have. I'm just going to put up the code again if anyone needs that code. I'll be right back. I got to get some water. Okay, no questions yet, so I'll wait for a couple more minutes. Please ask away. My house is quiet. I don't mind. I don't mind showing anyone something again if they have any desire for me to go over anything that that I went over too quickly and you want me to show you again. Okay. Can we change the orientation of the Google Slides? That's a really good question. Can we, Erica? What do you think? Let me go in there. I've only ever used landscape. Let's see here. Oh, Erica. File, page setup. There we go. Yes, you can. So you can change it here. So file, page setup. Thank you for your question. And I hope that answered your question. What can we do with the code in order to access the presentation? Okay, I'm going to show you. Hi, Michelle. Okay, this is what you're going to do, Michelle. And can students delete their own comments from the classroom? I do believe they can. They probably have the 3 dots next to their own. And as the teacher, you also can delete their comment. But definitely they can delete their own comments as well. Okay, so Michelle, I am going to show you what to do with the code. So you are going to go to Classroom. Thank you for asking this question. Great question. You are going to go to the plus. You are going to click on Join Class. And from there, it says, ask your teacher for the class code and enter it here. So what you are going to do is you are in this area here that says class code. You are going to, you are going to enter this class code. Okay, so you're going to type in JIW1BJN. Once you do that, you will be in the classroom. So if you go to your waffle and you go to your Google Classroom, Google at Thornwood Public School will come up. If you go into your classroom, you will then be able to access in classwork the slides presentation from tonight, which is right here. The other thing that's important for everybody to know, I know a lot of people have probably already left now, but this will be on our YouTube channel in about 24 hours. So the entire webinar will be uploaded and you can just fast forward to the spot that you wanted to learn more about or wanted to see me do again. So any other questions? And Michelle, I hope that answered your question. I see some people here already here. Awesome. Photo. Okay, this is so nice. I love this. This is one of my favorite things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again what I did with the photo. So I'm going to show you my phone here. So what I did was I took a photo with my phone of text in a book. Let me just see here. I'm just going to read this. How you took the photo of the book and added it to Google. I'm unable to join. Okay, so let me know for sure if you are unable to join. JIW1BJN. If you can't, I will email it to you. My email is lorraine.holt, LORRAINE.holt, HOLT, @plsb.com. And if you email it to me, I will share it with you over the drive, or I can also email it to you. But for the photo, what I did was I took a photo of a book. There's a bunch of different ways you can import. There's another way to do it using Google Keep, but this way I like because it's really accessible. So I took a photo of the book, and then what I did was I have Google Drive on my phone. So after I took a photo, I clicked here, right there, okay? When I clicked on there, this comes up, okay? I scrolled over to Drive, okay? There's my Google Drive there. I clicked on Drive, and then it asked me what drive, because I have 2 drives. So I clicked on my drive, and I clicked on it. It asked me to select the folder. So I clicked on my folder, and so that image, it was an image, a JPEG, it was uploaded to my drive on my phone. But because obviously you can access your drive from anywhere, that image, when I went to my drive on my computer, was sitting right there. So from here, this is a JPEG, as you can see. From here, I just right-clicked. From there, there's a whole bunch of different things that I can do. I clicked on Open With, and then I clicked on Google Docs. So what it will do, and it takes a little bit of time, what it will do is it will transfer it into a Google, take the text and it will transfer it into a Google Doc. I hope that explains it. If not, you can always email me and I can explain it again. If students can delete their comments, can we go back and see an edit history? Had an issue once and couldn't figure out if the comment had been, oh, okay, that's a great question. And that's a really good question for Erica, because she is our Google expert. Erica, can you possibly answer that question for me? And I will let Jennifer know. Kids are not able to see the puzzle piece on Google Docs. Why is it so? Great question. 99% of the time, they do not see their puzzle piece if they're on a desktop or if they're on a laptop because they're not signed into Chrome. At the very beginning of this webinar, I showed everyone how to sign into Chrome, and I'm just going to quickly explain it again. If you're on a desktop or a laptop, you need to not only be in Chrome, so not only do you double click on Chrome, you then have to sign in. And what I'm going to do here, if I wasn't signed in, this would not be my icon. It would be like a generic looking gray kind of outline of a head. I click here, and when I'm not signed in, there will be a blue tab here that says sign into Google Chrome. I click there, and it will prompt me to sign in, and I will sign in using my student number at pdsb.net. What that does is it signs the student into Chrome. Because all students have access to the Read and Write extension, which is linked to their account, they have to be signed into Chrome using their student number so that Chrome knows that they're a Peel District School Board student, and Chrome knows to give them access to the puzzle piece. If they are on Chromebooks, sometimes we have issues where the puzzle piece does not, we have issues where the puzzle piece does not come up on Chromebooks. And what you would do in that instance, what I have found works, is simply logging out and logging back in. I have been in situations where I've had 2 students on 2 different Chromebooks, and neither one of them had the puzzle piece. They switched Chromebooks. So it was this one student did not have access to the puzzle piece on one Chromebook. He signed into another Chromebook and it was there. So absolutely, 100%, you will not have access to the puzzle piece unless you're signed into Chrome on a desktop or a laptop. In a Chromebook, you're automatically signed into Chrome when you sign into a Chromebook. So the issue is signing out and signing back in, or trying another Chromebook. And I would say 95% of the time, that solves the problem. Okay, Erica. Were you able to answer my question about the edit history? She's probably thinking about it. And Jennifer, I can always find that out for you if I can't answer it today, and I can get back to you. Yeah, that could be an issue. It really could be. You can also turn off comments, of course, if you don't want any comments, but comments can also be really useful. So you want to make sure that, yeah, it's a tricky situation if you've got somebody that does tend to make inappropriate comments. I am going to wait just to make sure that we have no more questions. I hope that answered the questions. Oh, we've got another one here. So Erica was able to answer Jennifer's question. If you join a homeroom in classroom, how do you avoid getting every single class assignment? Okay, so that's a great question. Also, Michelle, what you're going to do is you're going to go to settings. So you're probably getting emails every time something gets sent to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your email. And Michelle, I can come and show you this as well. I'm going to go into my email. Oh, Erica already. She already answered it. You're awesome, Erica. So there we go. So you are going to be able to, on the homepage of the, oh, so she did it a different way. I was going to do it through email. She's doing it through Classroom. So there is always a couple of different ways to be able to do it. And Michelle, if you have trouble doing that, I can come in and show you. Okay, 8:16. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, please give us your feedback, because this is sort of the new way of administering PD. And I've had a great time. I hope you have. I hope you learned something. There's a lot, but little by little, try to integrate something you learned tonight in your classroom in the next day or two. If you're having trouble with anything, for sure, email me, email your ATRT, and we will answer any questions that you have. Okay, I'm signing off now, and have a great night, everybody.